Hello and good evening. I'm Norman Robinson and welcome to Affordable Housing Matters. On this program, we look at the housing development and home ownership opportunities in Jefferson Parish. What's available and how to qualify. We have a great show planned for you as always, so don't go far.
Look at that. It's so sad.
The Jefferson Parish Housing Services Development District is providing stable, quality, affordable housing opportunities for low and moderate income families throughout the local community. And joining me now to further discuss what this organization is doing for the community is Mr. Dorian Rawls, who is the Executive Director of the Jefferson Parish Housing Services Development District. Mr. Rawls, thank you for joining us here on Affordable Housing.
It's my pleasure.
And what we try to do here on the show is give people the information that they need to access affordable housing. This is not an interrogation, but a discussion. So talk to the viewers as if you are one of them looking to be assisted by the programs that you're offering. So first of all, tell us about the Housing Choice voucher program.
First of all, let me thank you for having us, and we're always happy to come and talk about what our program does in Jefferson Parish. Mm-hmm. The Housing Choice Voucher Program is a low-income housing program that provides housing subsidy for persons who are qualified through the federal process. Mm-hmm. To get on our program, you have to go through a qualifying wait list process. We just opened and closed our wait list. We had over 20,586 applicants apply. Of those, 10,000 were lotterized. So 10,000 persons just were placed on our wait list.
Wow.
In line for to receive a voucher at some point whenever their lottery number comes up. That number shows you what the need of affordable housing is in the greater New Orleans area. Greater New Orleans, Jefferson Parish, Slidell, the surrounding parishes. There's a great need for affordable housing. So these resources, while they are scarce, they are very valuable.
So when you talk about 10,000 people, what's the likelihood of those 10,000 people being serviced?
It depends on, we currently have an allotment of close to 5,000 vouchers.
Okay.
Of those 5,000, about 800 or so are currently open. So we will get to the first 800 or so within the next several months. Mm-hmm. Once you receive a voucher, the search responsibility is on the potential participant. They have to go out and locate their own unit and a landlord who's willing to rent to them and comply with the program components. But I would say that eventually we will get to all of those 10,000. Mm-hmm. If you're at the latter end of that number, it's going to be a while.
Wow.
But it's better to be on the list than not be on the list.
So what would be the average waiting period for someone?
It depends on where you are on the list, Norman. If you're within that first 1,000, chances are we'll get to you within this year. Mm-hmm. And then it only depends on program attrition and things like that. So it could be quite extensive mm-hmm. for those who are at the higher numbers.
Demographically, what are we talking about? Elderly people?
So we really don't track
really?
for particular things, but we do have programs that are associated that we like to support our elderly and disabled population. And then HUD also has some programs that come along intermittently that are focused there. So, it depends on what opportunities are out there. If the resources are available to us, we do look forward to providing specialized services.
Are there areas within the greater New Orleans area that are easier to house people?
So let me say that our voucher program is strictly for Jefferson Parish.
Okay.
New Orleans has their own voucher program. Other parishes and have voucher programs as well. Our jurisdiction is Jefferson Parish. So we provide services there. The housing opportunities are scarce, Norman, to be perfectly honest. There's a huge need for housing resources, and I would say if you're an investor or have an entrepreneurial spirit, now's the time if you want to invest in housing, because again, there are folks out here looking for quality rentals, and we are providing subsidies to assist with placing persons.
What's the challenge with placing persons outside of the scarcity of the housing?
That is the challenge, to be perfectly honest with you. Once a person is attracted to, as you well know, a good landlord, they don't move much. Our program, while it does have specific regulations that are promulgated by the U.S. Department of Housing and Service Development, it's pretty easy to navigate. Persons just have to be have fidelity to the process and make sure they're in compliance at all time with the Section 8 Housing Choice Voucher Program.
What are the challenges with trying to get landlords to participate in this program?
There are challenges with any program. Some landlords have an issue with our inspections requirement. Anytime you have 5,000 of anything, there are going to be challenges. Just the sheer number of persons we have well over 3,000 landlords on the program. So, you know, servicing those persons could become cumbersome at some time. But we do the best we can to navigate through that process. We have a specific department that's assigned directly to assisting landlords. We have a landlord liaison who they can access and get most of their questions asked. We also have an upgraded operating system that landlords have their own portal where they can get most of their information electronically. Some folks are just not there yet, and they prefer person-to-person contact, which could be challenging at times.
Now, if I'm listening to you describe the process, what do I need to do to qualify myself?
As an owner?
As an owner.
So you would reach out to our office either electronically or via telephone and do what's called a new landlord packet. And then we use the affordable housing website, affordablehousing.com. That's where our landlords go to list their property. And I can tell you this, Norman, quality listings don't stay on that list very long.
I can imagine.
Because again, it's competitive. And I want to say we encourage persons to join our program because our rents are very competitive. And one of the benefits of being on our program is that you get direct deposit directly from the Housing Services Development District on behalf of the Parish of Jefferson Voucher Program by within the first 5 business days of every month. And we like to call that mailbox money. Most landlords don't like chasing after that. I don't know any landlord that enjoys chasing after their rent.
I never liked it.
Right. So, you know, if you have a freestanding or free market renter, you have to go get that rent or set up a process that they can pay you with minimal hassle. Ours has no hassle. You give us your banking information, and by the by the 5th business day of every month, we're making those deposits. Now, the way the program is set up, it's income based. So tenants have a portion, we pay a portion, depending on what the person's income is, depending on what's the allotment that we pay on their behalf.
So how much of this program involves families with a lot of children?
I mean, there's no prohibition on persons with children. I mean, we have some single family homes. Most of those are some single family voucher holders. Most of those are elderly disabled. We do have some disabled families that have living aides, and their caregivers are allowed to live in that home and have so they can provide that 24-hour round. But we have families, and I'm not familiar with a trend where families are getting smaller in our area, so it depends on what they're qualified for. There are certain qualifications and standards. It dictates what size voucher you get. We apply that through our screening process, and you know, now that changes when persons have children and a marriage, the family expands. So it varies.
Yeah, I asked that question specifically because I know some landlords have different criteria for renting, whether that be with children or not with children.
So I would say that landlords have to be careful there because you don't want to become discriminatory in your screening process. But we encourage landlords to have a very vigorous and rigorous screening process so that they ensure that they're protecting their investment. And we have certain protections built in our program as well, which when we do our landlord outreach and landlord briefings, we go through that thoroughly with what the standards are and what the participants' program requirements are.
Okay, let's talk about the family self-sufficiency program as opposed to the home ownership program.
So I wouldn't say as opposed to it.
Okay.
They are sister programs.
Okay.
You can come straight to us and get in the home ownership program if you meet the criteria. Those that don't meet the criteria, we encourage them to go to the family self-sufficiency program where they enter into a contract with us. They set goals. If home ownership is the goal, then we're going to put you on the path to home ownership.
Okay.
We have a very, very active family self-sufficiency department. Our numbers have doubled in 2 short years with that. Just this year alone, we've had 6 closings. We've made former voucher holders homeowners. So that's a program that we're very, very proud of. We have an outstanding staff that works in our family self-sufficiency and our resident services department. Unfortunately, the young lady who directs that department was supposed to join us today. She fell ill, Courtney Paul, but her and her staff do an outstanding job with that. And we encourage persons to join those self-sufficiency programs. One of the biggest components of FSS is that it helps you improve your quality of life through income earnings. There are programs, there's steering that we do to partnering agencies, sister agencies that help you with credit score, job search, job readiness, credit counseling. I mean, it runs the gamut. So we're very, very, very proud, and we're a huge proponent of the Family Self-Sufficiency Initiative.
Say that I'm interested. I'm a rentor on your voucher program, and I'm interested in becoming part of the home ownership part of your program. What are the steps that I need to take?
So the first thing is that you would have to be on our program for 2 years.
Okay.
And but you would apply to become a family self-sufficiency program participant. And we have a staff that will guide them through the process. Nobody's out there alone. There are individual case managers in that department that walk them through, help them set up their contract, help them set up their goals, talk about how they earn savings toward their goals and things like that, and what those savings, once earned, are eligible for. For instance, if you wanted to be a homeowner, your savings, one of your goals would be listed as that. And then the savings that you accrue over the time while you're working on your credit score, while you're working on your employment status and things like that, whatever you save will be used towards your down payment. And we've been very, very blessed because we've had a number of lenders join us and to assist with first-time home buyers and helping through that process as well. The beautiful thing, Norman, about having a voucher and becoming a homeowner is that you have 15-year protections.
Oh, really?
Yes,
How does
sir.
that work?
So if you have a loss or decrease in income, what's called your HAP, your housing assistance payment that comes from us, it will temporarily increase while your income temporarily drops. Now, you're required to work with us to get that income back to what the bank qualified you for, but there's some protections there. And we have a great partnership with the Jefferson Parish Office of Community Development that are helping us develop affordable rentals and will eventually be helping us develop, they also develop first-time home buyers, home units as well for first-time home buyers.
So theoretically, I would have to attend classes.
You would have to. But that's the same for any first-time home buyers program. Everybody has to go through a qualifying process to become bankable and eligible to receive those subsidies.
I'm interested in that word, bankable.
So when we talk about that, we want to before we present a person to a lender, there's certain criteria that they have to meet.
Okay.
One is the credit score. The other was a certain annual income. And those are the two main components. So if you're not there yet, we're going to work with you with employment counseling, job readiness, and getting yourself together for that. And then we're going to help you develop a savings plan so that when you go to the bank, you have the requisite amount of savings in the bank as well as your credit score is where it needs to be. And it's not that difficult to achieve. A minimum 640 credit score is required. And that's very doable if persons have the right mindset and are willing to work towards it.
When you say right mindset, you mean?
So Norman, we all know that home ownership isn't for everyone. Some people don't want to be homeowners. There are certain requirements and responsibilities when you own a home. If you own a home, there's no more calling the landlord when something breaks.
This is true.
So so that's part of the process that we have in our training, teaching you how to maintain that home and ensure that if you want to be a home, know what you're getting yourself into, for lack of a better term.
Now I'm familiar with the voucher program where you're paying part of the rent, and you send people out to inspect occasionally. So what's the process or the criteria for home ownership? Do you send people out to inspect to see how they're maintaining their property? So
once we send them out before they purchase the home, we inspect the home to make sure that it meets the standards and the criteria for not only us, but the bank does as well. A bank is not going to mortgage a home that's substandard, and we can't let a voucher holder purchase a home that's substandard. So we do have an inspections process on the front end of the home ownership. But again, once it's your home, it's your home. Now our requirements are different for a voucher holder. We have a minimum of an annual inspection for all leased things, and then there's other inspections that come across. It could be a tenant can call in and request an inspection, a landlord can call in and request an inspection. And we also do quality control inspections to ensure that we randomly go out to a selected number of units to ensure that they are maintained to the program standards.
So how do you keep up with the property owners per se?
We keep up with them electronically through electronic communications. And then again, we do have that landlord liaison in our landlord department where they can call in with questions. And some people, we have walk-ins. Our office is open for walk-ins. We're open normal business hours. So I mean, and we also have meetings quarterly with our landlord population to ensure that we're hearing them, seeing what their concerns are and things like that. So I mean, we're open for business. So in the normal course of business, we interact with hundreds of landlords a week. So I would say well into the high hundreds.
I know you've worked with other housing programs in other places. How would you compare where you are now to the places that you've worked prior to?
I mean, it's pretty standard across whatever jurisdiction. Clearly, I like what I do. I wouldn't be doing it for 27 years.
You seem very passionate about what you're doing.
But I think to work in our industry, you have to have a passion for wanting to help people and want to see people succeed. But again, this is a social program. But for landlords, it's a business.
Right.
So that's a very, very murky area to work in. We have to be able to balance the landlord's needs, because you can't have a program without landlords.
True.
With the tenants' needs. And you can't have a program if no persons need affordable housing, then no persons are going to be renting these units. So it's a balance. We try to manage it on a daily basis, but I don't think anybody can survive in this industry if you don't have a passion for wanting to help people be successful and be upwardly mobile.
Are we seeing an increase in the number of people who are out there looking, out there searching for a place?
So I would say, Norman, that 20,000 number that I gave you gives you some type of indication that it doesn't appear to me that there is a lesser need for affordable housing, and I don't have a crystal ball, but I don't see it decreasing anytime soon. And the conditions of our country now, I would say we're going to need more subsidy programs rather than cutting back on them.
Let's talk about the conditions of our country now, especially with the present administration in Washington cutting federal grants. How concerned are you about being impacted by that?
So we haven't seen any cuts just yet. Let me put all of those fears to rest. There hasn't been an immediate cut, but any administrator would be concerned about the threats to any cuts. What we try to do is make sure that we're a good steward of the federal dollars, make sure that the money is going where it's supposed to be, and that the persons who are supposed to be getting service are being served, to ensure that we don't make ourselves susceptible to any cuts.
If you had a crystal ball or a magic wand that you could wave and have things become an ideal situation, what would it be?
Ideally, Norman, I think we should always be interested in taking care of our seniors and our disabled population. So I would ensure that they're a protected class at all times. And then it would be just increasing the dollar amount that's available for subsidy, like and helping persons become upwardly mobile, I would think. I don't know if that answers your question, but again, I'm always concerned about our most vulnerable population. And we do have programs that target, for instance, persons who are aging out of foster care. Things. So we have programs that address vulnerable population. One of the things we haven't talked about is our veterans housing. I'm always concerned about the persons who have served this country being able to have affordable housing once they return home and be able to turn it into a home ownership. We have a great partnership with the Veterans Administration.
Is there a special program for veterans?
It's called VASH, yes, sir.
Walk us through that.
So we have an allotment of VASH vouchers that we work through with our local Veterans Administration's office. They have case managers assigned who work with the veterans, making sure that they're successful in their housing navigation, and their subsidy comes directly through that Veterans Administration housing.
Okay, so
And we manage a large number of those.
So that's a program that might be impacted by the federal cuts, because
anything could be impacted by federal cuts. So again, I don't. We have not.
You don't anticipate that.
I would hope that it would not be touched. I think that's probably the best way I could.
How many veterans are you presently serving? Do you know?
I think it's a little over 100. It's over 100 in our jurisdiction.
In
only.
your jurisdiction.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty sizable number.
Pretty sizable. But again, we do have a very, very healthy relationship with our local Veterans Administration. They do a great job of managing their cases, and we have a weekly call with them to ensure success of the persons that's on that program.
So you have a process for keeping up with them?
Yes, sir. We have a department that's headed by a young lady by the name of Nicole Landry, who is our manager of special programs. So she heads up, and she has a manager that works on her, Mr. Terry Stewart, and they work directly with our any special program, whether it be veterans, could be our homeless population, could persons be that were on our emergency housing voucher program. And also the young man that's sitting back there is the landlord liaison who is here. He's the person that deals directly with our landlords. So we try to have systems in place to make things as easy as possible to navigate. Now there's no utopia when, like I said, there's a lot of, we deal with a lot of, we're in the people business, Norman, and we deal with a lot of people on a daily basis.
And it sounds like you have programs that cover
right. So
a lot of these areas of need.
If we had an opportunity, we'd like to expand those programs. But again, that's all based on a congressional allotment that goes to HUD. HUD is funded through appropriations, just like most federal government. But any bureaucracy can sometimes be a little challenging to navigate. Our job as professionals is to try to make that as less cumbersome as possible for both tenants and landlords.
Wow, that's impressive that you have a program that's that inclusive and that expansive. And particularly for the homeless, because that's been a big topic.
So I'm sure you're familiar with Unity for the Homeless.
Oh yeah,
I'm
a board member.
So they are. We work in most of the housing. I would probably say all of the housing agencies in southern region deal with them at some point, because they are the homeless consortium. They help that population navigate housing, and they work with us with persons who receive vouchers through one of those vulnerable programs. So we have a healthy relationship with Martha Kegel and her staff, and again, we are on weekly calls with them.
Great, that's great to hear. And thanks for being here. You know, it's really been a joy and informational.
Well, it's my pleasure. Thank you for having us. It was my pleasure. And we look forward. Again, our website is jphsdd.org. That's jphsdd.org. And it's very interactive, and persons can find information on the home ownership program, on the FSS program, landlord information, things like that. The only thing we can't do, Norman, is just give somebody a voucher. Again, they have to come through that authorized wait list program.
All right, Mr. Rawls, thank you very much.
It's my pleasure. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. We would again like to thank Mr. Dorian Rawls for joining us this evening on the program. And to learn more about the Jefferson Parish Housing Services Development District, please visit jphsdd.org or call 504-342-4475. And that will conclude our program for this evening. Also remember, if you would like to watch this or any of our other past episodes, please scan the QR code displayed on your screen right now, and that will take you to our WLAE-TV YouTube page, where you can view all of our programs at your leisure. I am Norman Robinson, and we will see you next time right here on Affordable Housing Matters.